everybody. I am here and I'm here to talk about networking Facebook like a leader for lead generation, and I cannot wait to share these tips with you. It's going to be an awesome session. Loads of you are dropping on now, so right, okay, I'm gonna get stuck in. Hello Janice, it's lovely to see you again, my lovely. So I've had a bit of a tech disaster morning, but hey, we're going on regardless. I've got notes written down, I've got notes on my phone because it wouldn't let me print them out. It's so annoying, but I've written notes, so that's always a good start, and it means that it's here. I'm here ready for a jam-packed, value-packed training session on this. Perfect. Okay, so then what I want to stress is that a lot of you have been asking for this training as one of the most obvious top choices. It seems like everybody wants to be knowing how to get leads from Facebook, and it is something that I can say up until the beginning of this year, I probably got 99% of my clients from Facebook. So I feel that I am totally 100% qualified to tell you guys how you can actually network Facebook correctly. Now, what I do want to say is Facebook isn't the only way to generate clients. It's a way to generate clients. You don't have to do it, but it is an amazing way to generate clients, and it's also an amazing way to connect with people, to actually leverage relationships that you have outside of social media, that you can continue having those on Facebook. And also another great tip, if you know that you are going to an event of some kind and you want to meet someone in particular, maybe there's an influencer that you're like, oh, do you know what, I would love to speak to this person, to get to know them a bit more. Use social media to connect with them first, because it gets the ball rolling. So even if you're not going to solely network online, it is a great way to leverage offline relationships, either to continue them or to start them off. For instance, Andy, he's going to an event in a few weeks' time, and there's a particular person there who's climbed Everest. And as you know, Andy helps to take people to Everest Base Camp. That's what his business does, which is quite cool. And this person is going to be at this event, so he is really excited about it, and so he's already been connected with him on Twitter and on social media to say, hey, I can't wait to meet you at this event. It'd be great to catch up. 3 days later, I'm going to be, going to Everest Base Camp. So yeah, it would be great to speak to you. So that's how you can start the ball rolling, start finding some common ground with people, start building those relationships to continue those on. So I just want you to know that you can use it as a bit of a hybrid networking, or you can also use it as a sole networking hub, which is how I actually started. When I first started in this coaching game, I actually felt I didn't want to go to these in-person networking events, which seems ridiculous now considering I run my own networking events and I go to so many, it's unbelievable. And I actually really, really enjoy going to those in-person ones. But actually going to using Facebook, I want you to know that it is possible to purely network online if you wanted to. There are ways and means that I'm going to talk to you about now. Hey everybody. Oh, hi Alessia, you are catching me live. You'd never catch me live actually, so there we go. Hello live Jen speaking to Alessia. Right, so there are 3 key things that you need to be doing when leveraging Facebook to network on, and they're very obvious ones. The first one is knowing that you're building relationships, and that it's not a broadcasting tool. Okay, when you're networking, you're not broadcasting, you're actually building relationships, and that means speaking to people. Okay, so a lot of people get confused. So I'm just going to banish a myth right now, bear with me, about what networking is not. Networking is not shouting from your Facebook page to maybe 4 or 5 people who that post reaches to, right? That's not networking. That's you broadcasting your own stuff, which is still fine, by the way. I'm not knocking it. You carry on, but it's not networking. That isn't building relationships necessarily, particularly if your reach on your page is very low. Actual networking is getting in amongst it, getting in amongst the people and getting right into conversation and actually speaking to them and building those relationships. Okay, so I just want to make that very clear distinction. There's marketing, absolutely, and then there's networking, and they're two very, very different things. Okay, so that's the first one, is actually building relationships, and I'll break these steps down in a second. Second thing is positioning yourself as an expert in what you do. So let's keep it simple. That's purely what this is all about. It's about building those relationships and positioning yourself as an expert in what you do. Step 3 is funneling them into your nurture process. Okay, so demystifying the jargon I'm talking about there. What I mean by that is you are taking them on a journey. So once you've built that relationship, once you've positioned yourself as an expert and they are clearly interested, that you've then been able to take them through into, okay, well, come and follow me then. Come and follow me, because I'm going to show you some stuff which you might like and could really help you. And so that's pulling them into your own nurture process. So that's what I mean by that. So you've got those 3 steps, okay? Building relationships, positioning yourself as an expert in what you do, and then funneling them into your nurture process. Simple as, okay? So I don't want to make it any more complicated than that, but I am going to break down steps for you right now on how to do that, okay? So building relationships. This is one of the most hilarious things ever. I get so many people come to me and go, it's not working. I can't find any leads on Facebook. They don't exist. And when I dig into, are you actually taking action to get in amongst people and talk to people and actually start building those relationships? Are they doing it? No, they're not. So don't come to me telling me that it's not working if you're not taking action. You've actually got to speak to people. You've actually got to get in there and actually find out where people are, because this is the other thing, is that we see a lot of people perhaps networking, but you've got to ask yourselves, are you networking in the right areas? So taking into consideration your industry, what you do, and who your ideal client is, are you in the right places as to where they are? And if you're questioning and going, well, I don't know where they are, I'm going to be completely honest with you and say it's highly likely then that you haven't actually looked. A lot of people don't know where they are, but they haven't actually even bothered to research. So ask yourself that, have I actually bothered to look and research where these people are? And secondly, do I actually have clarity on who they are? Because it's generally one of those 2 things. If you don't know where they are, it's because you don't have clarity on who they are, or because you actually haven't looked, okay? So when I'm talking about where people are, groups, again, Facebook isn't the only place to go. So if the word being in groups gives you the jitters and the shivers and the, oh my God, like, do I have to do this? No, you don't have to do this at all. You can just shut down this training right now and you can say, no, I'm not doing it. But hear me out, because it's an excellent way to generate leads when done properly, okay? So Facebook groups are a great way to do it. And you've got that wonderful little search bar, trying to get this on the mirror version, on Facebook, which is usually around about here, that you can type in and research. So just type in a few keywords about what it is that you do, or who it is that your ideal client is, or the problem that you solve, or the solution that you achieve into that little search engine, and then click the groups tab and see what pops up and go and have a look. Now, make sure that you're networking in quality places, okay? If you go into a group and you start seeing a ton of billboard style adverts with very little engagement, no discussion, no questions, no likes or comments or anything like that, then that probably isn't a quality group to be in. You actually want a group, because a lot of people go in and go, brilliant, we're allowed to advertise, amazing, but nobody's going in there because nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see a ton of billboard style adverts. That's not why people are there. They're there to engage. A group is about a community. It's about learning, support, helping each other, building those relationships. So you might rub your hands and go, brilliant, I can advertise, but if nobody's in there looking, then you're just joining the rest of the fools. Okay, go and join the fool line. Don't do that. Get out of there. It's pointless being in there. It's not going to do you any favors. You actually want a group that actually has a strong leader, someone who has got rules. I always seem to have on my lives, there's one person who just seems to tap all the buttons. I get a sad face, a flower, an angry face, and a happy face, and then a shocked face. Who are you? It's like the elusive person with the many emojis. Like, I'm not quite sure how you feel about it. You're thankful, then you're angry, then you're sad. Who knows? Anyway, or you could be like me with fat thumbs when you just press too many at once, and then you're like, oh God, I didn't mean to send that, which is usually me. So yes, you do need to make sure that you're in a quality group. You want a strong leader, someone who actually has in the description some kind of boundaries, some kind of rules, because it means that the group is controlled and that actually people are there to engage and abide by certain etiquette. That shows a great sign of a quality group. So don't go into a group and go, darn it, they don't allow promotion, because don't you worry, love. I'm going to show you how to work around all of that, because actually some of the best groups don't allow promotion for the exact reason that they don't want it to turn into a billboard style thing. Plus, as we were talking about the other day, Nikki made a point, is that she doesn't allow people in her health group to go and start advertising for health supplements that she doesn't fully support, because she feels that it's dangerous for her clients, and that's fair dues, right? So she's very protective of that group. She's very protective about what's put out there. But it also means that it's a quality group. It's a quality leader who is helping people through particular things. So this is the other thing you need to be concerned about here. So we're looking at groups, and we're looking at making sure that it's a quality group. But you also need to make sure that you are not in direct competition with somebody, because it's just icky. Okay. So if someone came in here who dealt with exactly the same thing as me, it's cool. I'm not going to tub too much. I'm not, honestly, and people say this all the time, what, seriously, you would let someone who does the exact same thing as you? Yeah, I would. But actually for the person who's in here, it's a worse situation, because it is just a bit ick, right? They're in here and they're saying the same stuff as me, and they're jumping onto things, and it just leaves a bit of a bad smell. So don't be in direct competition. Try and be places where you complement what that leader of the group does, so that you can slot in and fit in nicely, so that you're still networking where your prospects or ideal clients are, but you're not in that direct competition, which is why, just to let you know, micro niching is so important, because by micro niching you pull yourself apart from competition, and it doesn't become icky anymore, because you're able to give your area of expertise into that collaboration, so that you're not in direct competition with people. You've got your own blue ocean, and no one else is, we're not scrapping over people. It's about, this is what I bring to the table specifically. This is how I can add value, rather than I'm going to try and poach clients from your group, because it's just not nice. It's not nice for the leader, and it's not nice for them. Let's be completely honest about it. Okay, so I just wanted to just help you out there in terms of, you need to be taking action in the right areas. Go and do your research, find out who your ideal client is, then go ahead and find the groups or the spaces that you want to go to. Another great way to do it is to actually go and find other leaders that you complement, and then find their communities, because if you're aligned with the leader, then that's great. Because what you don't want to be is in a group where you also don't agree with the ethos and the message that leader is putting out there, because again, we don't want to topple the leader. We don't want to bring them down, because at the end of the day, their audience is there for them, and they will be generally fiercely loyal to that person. So if you rock up and be like, well, actually, I think this, and this, and this, and you completely undermine what they're talking about, or, so for instance, you think mindset is a total load of crap, and you're like, it's a mindset group, and then you go in there, start talking about that, that's not going to go down very well. So rather than, it's cool to disagree, and it's cool to disagree respectfully, but if you fundamentally disagree with the messaging that leader is consistently putting out there, don't network in there, because it's not going to go down well. Because also, are they your ideal clients? Are they the people that are going to be wanting to speak to you? So make sure that you do align with the people of the audience in which you're leveraging. And by the way, it's fine. So anyone who's feeling icky about that, leveraging someone else's audience, is totally cool. I've got a ton of people in here leveraging my audience. I've got Alessia, who's amazing at tech projects and helping out people with like done for you GDPR processes. You fill your boots, love. Like, I don't want to do any of that. Don't make me. So it's absolutely fine, but it's cool because she complements what I do. In here, you guys are all her ideal clients. not like don't all run for the hills, but do you get where I'm saying? Don't be worried about leveraging other people's audiences. As long as you're not in that direct competition, you are totally fine to go in there and do it the classy way. Classy is the key here. Okay, so firstly, taking action. Visibility comes in many forms. So this is what I used to hate. I used to hate seeing, especially when this whole posting in 10 to 15 Facebook groups every day, 3 times a day, and blah, all of that malarkey. I used to call it loving the sound of your own value. So that's all you do, is you rock up in the group that you said you're going to be visible in, you post your stuff and then off you go to the next one, you post your stuff and then off you go. But you would never actually engage with the rest of the community. That is not building relationships. Visibility comes in many forms. Now, I'm not against posting value content, but first and foremost, when it comes to building relationships, is actually helping and supporting others. So before you go ahead and post your incredible, amazing post that demonstrates your expertise, which is fantastic, which again crops into that second piece, so building relationships but also positioning yourself as the expert. So before you start doing that with your value posts, go in there and just look at what people have written. And if you don't know how to answer it, then maybe tag somebody who does. You know, actually be a little bit selfless with your support. That's what building relationships is about. So if you are networking in a group, it is about community and it is about support. So never forget that. So go in there before you do anything else, have a look through, you know, comment on some other people's things, offer your help, offer your advice if you can. If it's within your expertise, then fantastic. Point 2 again, position yourself as the expert. A great tip, and I'm going to attribute Nikki Campbell to this tip, which is absolutely amazing. She uses the phrase, what I tell my clients is. It makes it very clear that you are an expert in that field, because if you have clients for that particular topic, whatever is being spoken about, then it makes it very apparent that you are actually helping them. So Nikki, amazing tip. I hope you don't mind me hijacking that, but that's one great way to show that you actually do. So if you're in a group that doesn't allow promotion, you can still make it obvious in other ways that you are actually someone in your field, as well as value posts. So you can put out those value posts, but also actually getting in there and having discussions and helping out with your expertise where you can, and also just helping out and supporting, even if you don't know. Just, you know, even if it's just giving them a virtual hug. I know that's a very female thing to do, or a bit of manly support, whatever it is, but just supporting people goes down so well. And not just with that person, but with everybody else who's looking. They're like, oh gosh, yeah, they're a decent chap, or, you know, she's amazing. You know, it builds those relationships. So visibility comes in many forms, not just, hello, I'm here. It can actually be, okay, well, let's just actually get in here and engage. You do have to spend time. And if you're thinking, where am I going to find the time to do this? The key is small and quality. So don't go for 10 groups, go for 3. No, find out those quality places to be, and whittle them down to about 3 places, and just network them really well, because you cannot build relationships by being everywhere and nowhere. So keep it small, otherwise you're going to burn out, and you will spend all of your time, as Nigel Bottrell will say, dicking about on Facebook. That's where that happens. But purposeful, strategic networking with genuine intention and support is perfect. That is not dicking about on Facebook. That's actually building those relationships, which goes a long way to getting those clients. I'm just looking here. Nikki says, yes, I'm having the best of luck with my indoor cycling groups. I've picked up several clients by just offering advice and support. All I say is, as a health coach, I tell my clients, exactly, here we go, you should just put it here. And people reach out. It's been awesome. Exactly, absolutely. It really does position you as the expert. So that's fab. Okay, let me just go down to my next point. That's fine. Okay. So the other thing is, a lot of things that I see people do, another no-no is actually PMing people. So for instance, they'll ask for help. They've asked for help publicly, help them publicly, offer them support otherwise, you know. So give your advice in the thread, unless they've obviously said, can you PM me? But it's unlikely. If they've asked us for support, it's it's just basic group etiquette that if someone's asked for support or asked a question, that you give the answer on the thread. So if you're trying to PM people, firstly, it does feel a little bit icky, let's be honest. It's a bit of an intrusion of privacy, but stranger danger, can you get out of my inbox? And secondly, you're missing a trick here. If you're trying to position yourself as an expert, why would you give your expert advice on the question asked privately when everyone else will be able to see that you're an expert on this topic? So rather than trying to be that icky, like I'm going to get in there first and I'm going to get them, and sort of like chasing clients down like a rabid dog, just stop, be cool, give your advice on the thread, and it will be much, be more welcomed than doing it the other way. So that's another thing not to do. So those are things about building relationships. If anybody has any questions on build that kind of section of how to build relationships, how to go about doing that kind of stuff, then just pop your questions in here. I'll be more than happy to answer them now. We'll go and do a second training on this. It's no problem at all. Perfect. Oh, loads of people are loving this training. I'm loving it. So that's the building relationship side of things. Okay, so positioning yourself as an expert, as I've already covered. Value posts, amazing. As long as you're doing the other things as well, then go ahead and post your value posts in there. People will respond more. So you see what happens when you see people posting value posts and no engagement on anyone else's stuff. You will see that there are no likes and there are no comments. And that's because they haven't built the relationships for people to want to. I remember in my old group, so I used to have a different group to this, and I remember there was somebody, and Holly, I think it was Holly or Marcy, I think it was Holly and Marcy actually, who called them out, because people who follow me are, honest, out there, outspoken, and they say what they say with integrity, and I absolutely adore them. And they called this person out. They kept coming in and they just kept posting value. And they were like, we don't even know who you are. We've never met you. And you just keep telling us what to do. And people don't like that. And they don't want that. And they call them out on it. So instead of just blurting out your stuff, actually go in there and get involved, then post your value, and you'll find that you'll get a lot more engagement on your posts because people are more warmed to you. You've built that relationship first. Okay. So value posts are a great way of doing it. Expert support advice, as I've said, if you notice a question someone's asked that you are best placed to answer, then yeah, get in there. Don't worry about other people's perspectives, what else anyone else has said, and in fact, actually, I agree with so and so, but I actually think another way of doing it could be, like, don't be afraid to give your point of view. Don't be afraid to disagree respectfully. It's the respectfully bit that's really important. So if you don't agree with something that somebody said, or you think that you have an alternative way of doing something, don't be afraid. You're the expert. If you know what you know to be true for you and for your clients, then go out there and blooming show them, And if someone says something that you support, then tell them that you support that. Don't just stand back. If there is a chance for visibility and support and connection with other people, then get in there and do that and be a part of that connection. Okay, expert support value posts. Another amazing way. So by this point, you should have been building relationships not just with the people inside of the group, but also the leader, and supporting what they do. So actually, this probably comes back to the building relationships section. Actually going in there, if they're running a challenge, get involved with the challenge. If they are asking questions, or they're on live, join their live, support them. Build the relationship with that leader. Because not only is that just the best practice, it also means that everybody else respects you for respecting the person that they respect. And it means that when it comes to the time when you could potentially support each other, you could do a bit of a collaboration of allowing each other to perhaps leverage on each other's audiences. And you could actually be going up to that leader and saying, hey, I've been in your group for X amount of time and absolutely adore it. I've been thinking I could potentially help run a specific training or a guest expert spotlight on this particular topic. What do you think? An excellent way to position yourself as an expert and put you in the spotlight in front of that whole audience, which not only, again, helps and supports the group, but actually positions you as an expert in your field on that particular topic. And generally, as general etiquette on the back of these lives, you will be able to, point 3, funnel them into your nurture sequence, because you can actively say, if you would like to know more information about this thing that we've just been chatting about, why not download my 5 steps of blah, 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 blah. Why not, you know, and I'll just be transparent with the leader. Would you mind if I asked them if they wanted to join my group to learn more about this? You know, give them a call to action, funnel them into your nurture sequence, okay? So that's a great way of doing it, and I'll talk more about how to use, how to funnel people into your nurture sequence, even if you haven't got the opportunity to do so, for instance, on a guest expert live, or there's no promotion, because promotion generally means anything that takes you away from that place, anything that takes you into a link to your blog, anything that takes you into your group, anything that goes into a download, anything that like that will be classed as promotion. So this, I'll show you some ways to do that in a second. Just going through my thing. That's fine. Oh yeah, positioning yourself as an expert, something very, very obvious, which I should have mentioned at the very beginning, is making sure that you understand what you're an expert in. A lot of people get scared about approaching the leader to do a guest expert spotlight, or indeed jumping onto other people's posts, because they're not quite sure what they want to be known for. And I wrote an email about this a couple of days ago, and it's really important that you become known for something. So ask yourself that question before you start networking as one of your goals. What do I want to be known for? What's important for me to stand out as? Once you're clear on that, then you can start to position yourself as the expert, and you can start approaching those other leaders about those different things. But be clear on what problem is it that I am an expert in solving, and what solution am I the expert in helping them achieve. Get those 2 things super, super clear, and that's where you'll start to be able to become known for that thing, and then the word will start to spread. And the more you build those relationships, the more that they're going to start spotting things for you. The amount of times they're like, oh, Jen's the clarity queen or niche, she can help you out with this, and I'll get tagged. So become known in the field. But in order for people to do that, you have to start building those relationships first. It always starts there, okay? Now, how to funnel people. Here are the little secret tips that I wished I had known at the very beginning of my Facebook networking journey. If I'd have just known these simple things, they would have made my life so much easier. So Nikki's one of, you know, what I tell my clients is a great way to show people. But then they're like, oh, she does something that I want to know about. How can I find her? And the best way that you can do this is by making sure that your personal profile has the biggest, most gigantic call to action you've ever seen into wherever it is that you want them to go to, okay? So your nurture sequence could come in many different forms. So that could come in as a free download, join my group, download my audio, jump in my membership, my free membership, whatever it might be. You need to give them a call to action to be able to get to know you better, so that they have somewhere to go where they can follow you and move through your client or prospect journey to become a client. And the way you do that is, you'll notice if you go into, and there's a reason why I do this, because if I'm networking somewhere where I'm not allowed to promote, but I've been doing those 2 things, I've been building relationships, I've been positioning myself as an expert, and that person goes, oh, they're rather good, they'll click into my personal profile to find out more about me, and they will see across the top of my personal profile a cover photo. So if you go onto my personal profile in a sec, you'll see that I've got a big banner on there with a few credentials, the fact that I'm a best-selling author, and click here to join my community. So they'll know where to go next. So I'm telling them, if they want to follow me and get to know more about me, they can click into there, click the link and join my group. And that's how you funnel people into where you want them to go, whether that be onto your email list, whether that's be in your Facebook group, whether that be to your podcast, whatever it might be. You make sure that that call to action is bright as neon as possible on your cover photo. Now, there is one more little sneaky thing that you can do to funnel people, and that is I think there's 4 or 5 feature photos on your profile page as well. Now, some people are very, very clever, and they create a picture made up of the 5 photos, which is very clever. So they'll it's like a jigsaw. But regardless of what you do with them, if you go into mine, you'll see that it's all to do with the message that I'm giving out. It's something to do with owning your value, becoming an expert. And they'll click into any of those pictures, and again, they'll see links as to where to go and how to follow me. So make sure that you're leveraging every part of your profile. Make sure that your kind of like job stuff is all up to date, so that it shows people where to go, that it has your website and everything else that goes on there. There are so many different places. I think there's also a thing on your mobile. So if you go onto your mobile, onto your profile page, you will also see there's like a little synopsis, and you can put in links or call to actions into there as well. So whenever they check you out, they're going to know exactly where to go next. You've just got to make it very, very clear for them. Make sure your links are up to date, and make sure it's obvious and as bright as possible, very clear where to go next to get to know you. So that's how you can funnel people on. Another way you can funnel people through is on freebie threads, which I'm going to start doing in here, by the way. So as a little mini announcement, I'm going to start running freebie threads where you can come in and drop your freebie into there. And you can also do this into promotional threads as well. Now, my big piece of advice here is don't drop in a paid for service into someone else's group, even if they ask you to do it, right? Because are they going to actually buy from you there and then in somebody else's group without fully going through your nurture sequence? It's unlikely. Your best bet, even if they are saying promotional thread, pop your latest offer down here, give them a call to action, give them something free. You know, that could be come and join my group for my latest training on Tuesday about whatever it is. It could be come and download my freebie, my audio, listen to my podcast. Give them an opportunity to join that prospect journey first, to get to know you and build that know, like, trust as you as an expert. That's really important. So, you know, I'll leave that piece of information in your hand, but that would be my best advice. Don't ever drop paid products in. Always drop a freebie. They can come and get to know you more, and then you can offer them. It's the way it goes. Grow your audience, nurture the hell out of them, and then sell them your offers. It's the same every time. So I really wouldn't be worried about putting paid offers into other people's spaces. Bring them into your own, then sell to them where they are, when they're there. And I think that concludes. Yes, I think I've gone through everything. So does anybody have any questions? Are they that they still feel have been unanswered by this training? So just pop them below, and I'm just going to go and check my phone notes. It's so annoying. I've got notes in my pad, notes on here. For those of you who've only just joined, my printer broke, which is why I'm now reading it off of several different places. So I'm just going through. So yeah, so just to go back to that last point, it's very important you grow your own audience. Networking in other spaces is great, but unless you're pulling them in and funneling them into your own spaces and nurture, unless people are doing word of mouth referral, it's not as likely that you're going to end up having them as clients. Give them an opportunity to get to know you more in your own space. You're going to have a much better conversion rate that way. I think that's it. Now, what I'm reading off of, just to make sure I've gone through stuff, is actually an ebook on how to network Facebook like a leader. So if you would like that ebook, because I know you've gone through this training, but it probably has a few more bits in there as well, just let me know in the comments and I will make sure that you get that as well. But yeah, it goes through sort of Facebook posting strategy and other bits and pieces in there as well. But I think I've gone through everything I possibly can. So I'm just going to go through, are there any GDP issues around member groups? GDPR issues around member groups? I'm not sure. If you want to follow somebody on that, Suzanne Dibble is your best bet. So for GDPR stuff, I refer everybody over to that group. She's got her own group where she can answer questions on GDPR. So I'd probably go and have a little look. Anjali also has another tip. You can change them seasonally, the links. Yeah, absolutely. And this is the other thing as well. Thank you for the reminder, Anjali. If you change your profile picture up, that could also have a call to action potentially. But if you change your cover photo on a regular basis, it also notifies people that so-and-so's changed your cover photo. So any new friends that you've picked up or anything like that, you can, it will notify them and they can see, oh, they've got this group or they've got this thing. So it's another chance to be visible. And also, obviously, inviting if you are somebody who allows your work colleagues or prospects to become friends with you, I do, then you can obviously invite them to like your page. So you go onto your page and you just say invite to like, and you can actually invite them. Again, that could be another way they can start to get to know you a bit better as well. So networking on your personal profile isn't really a problem either, as long as you're doing it well, not just broadcasting, actually, again, engaging and commenting with other people. You can use your personal profile to network on as well. I wouldn't advise it to be your sole use, because I think, I know Facebook cracks down on that kind of stuff, but I also know that it's also a very effective tool for people to getting to know, like, and trust you as well. So used with caution, it can be very powerful. Right, I think I haven't got any questions as far as I can see. No, I can't see any questions. So if anyone thinks of anything that they would like answered, just pop them into the group and I'll be more than happy to answer them. And I hope you found this really useful today. It's been a pleasure running this training.